the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? Gonna take a sentimental journey, sentimental journey home.
Suzanne would want me to point out that you should probably turn your cell phones to stun and pick up your detritus. Those are the two things that I think Suzanne would want you to know. I'm Sharon Dolan. I'm the executive director of the Freight, which I neglected to mention at the beginning, and I would like to thank you all very much for coming to this celebration. If there had been any new people here tonight, besides the couple of you that raised your hands, I would point out that we are a nonprofit organization. We have just finished celebrating our 50th anniversary. Yay. And normally we have a Friends of the Freight table out in the lobby for fundraising purposes because we are a nonprofit and we rely on your gifts to keep on keeping on. However, tonight it is a Friends of Suzanne table. And the reason for this is that our going away gift for Suzanne, aside from this event tonight, is some help with the moving expenses to take her to Florida. Because it is an expensive proposition to get to Florida. And I guess if we don't raise the money, maybe she can't go, but so there's that strategy. One of the things that I love about being here is that people pitch in to do things that are well outside of their job description on a really regular basis. Our main organizer tonight is David Wagner, who's our concessions manager, so thank you, David. And as usual, Bob Whitfield, our production manager, and all of the other staff here are also pitching in. When I first moved here about 20 years ago, I almost immediately started coming to the Freight, and Suzanne was the person who was on stage most frequently. Is that you over there? Yes, hi. Suzanne was usually on the stage introducing the shows, and so, I was kind of starstruck by Suzanne. I thought she was really cool, and I wanted to be her friend. And shortly after that, I started volunteering, and volunteered for several years over there at the Middle Freight. And Suzanne was usually so I got to meet Suzanne, so I was really excited about that. And she was frequently the person who was there being the night manager. And, on my first night there, I was really excited to be volunteering, and, pretty early on, I screwed something up. I don't remember what it was, like I lit the candles wrong or something, I don't remember. And Suzanne, in her gentle Suzanne way, pointed out, man, you really screwed that up. Or something to that effect. And, I'm from the East Coast, and we're fans of direct communication. So right off, I felt really right at home. So thank you for that. So, and I have appreciated not only Suzanne's direct communication style, which I honestly, truly love, but so many other things about Suzanne that I have learned over my 4 years here and my several years volunteering. And you're going to be hearing from many people over the course of the evening as to why they love Suzanne. But I wanted to just tell you that brief little story. In addition to her direct communication, Suzanne is somebody who can be so passionate and excited about things that she cares about and loves, people, animals, flowers, and places that she loves. So, I love the fact that she's willing to kind of share her passion and her feelings and her thoughts about a variety of topics. And as an executive director, I really, really appreciate the direct and honest and telling it like it is way that Suzanne has been for me. And so, because of how welcome I felt as a volunteer and, getting to know Suzanne and other folks here, Suzanne was probably a big reason why it even occurred to me to come work at the Freight. So thank you for that. Yeah. Suzanne, I cannot imagine the freight without you. I'm sure that is true of many of you. Even if you've only been here a couple times, you've no doubt seen her on stage. But I know that when you get to your new home, that other people are going to love you and adore you just as much as we do. And I was starstruck for a reason. You are a star, and you will be a star in your new home as much as you are here. So thank you for everything that you've done for the last 38 years. And thank you again for coming this evening. The other folks I want to thank tonight are all of the musicians, all of whom are donating their time because they too love Suzanne. And I really appreciate we ask a lot of our local musicians, so I really want to say thanks to all of you who are participating in this show this evening. And our first set will be by Thompsonia, so please welcome them.
Well, it's our pleasure to be here tonight to play and sing for Suzanne. And I think Eric and I first met Suzanne when she first started working at the Freight in 1981, that was. Allegra wasn't around yet. And when I think about that time, I remember the smell of the brownies and especially of the Armenian orange cake. I don't know if anybody out here besides me remember the Armenian orange cake? At the old Freight, there was a kitchen with a stove and an oven, and they used to bake things, and it smelled fantastic. So my memories of that time and meeting Suzanne are all tied up with these wonderful home-baked smells. Allegra asked Suzanne if there was anything special that she wanted to hear us sing, and she suggested this very apt song, and we hope it will continue to be apt through our winter. It's called Nothing But Rain.
Weatherman, can't you hear me pine? Weatherman, change your plan and make that old sun shine. I keep hearing folks crooning about, ain't gonna rain no more. But when I get ready to step out, it starts right in to pour. Now I get all dressed in my Sunday best, and it don't do nothing but rain. My pants all pressed and my coat and vest, and it don't do nothing but rain. It's hard to smile when the clouds are black and the rain comes trickling down your back. I ought to have been born with a bathing suit on, 'cause it don't do nothing but rain. I can't make love underneath the stars above when it don't do nothing but rain. There ain't no spark in a public park when it don't do nothing but rain. It cramps my style, I can't do my stuff when the rain comes shooting out of my cup. I can't pet her when the bench is wet, and it don't do nothing but rain. Well, I take my sweet for a walking treat, it don't do nothing but rain. We crossed the street and she got wet feet, 'cause it didn't do nothing but rain. Now we all know what Sir Raleigh did. He said to the Queen, "Oh, step on it, kid." I'm gonna trade my coat for a ferry boat, 'cause it don't do nothing but rain. Well, I had me a date at the garden gate, it didn't do nothing but rain. My shoes all shine, I'm looking mighty fine, and it don't do nothing but rain. Well, the ducks are glad when the raindrops flow, but I ain't got no web in between my toes. I must have got my blood from the Johnstown flood, 'cause it don't do nothing but rain. I take my gal outside for an auto ride, it don't do nothing but rain. We couldn't go far in an open car, 'cause it didn't do nothing but rain. Well, I parked the car and I talked and talked. Well, I knew she couldn't get out and walk. Oh, but the sweet young thing, she carried water wings, and it don't do nothing but rain. It don't do nothing but rain.
Thank you, Allegra. Another thing about Suzanne is she just has always been great about really listening to every music that comes through here, and sometimes just giving a lot of, well, always giving a lot of good energy to the musicians, but sometimes in a really specially nurturing way. And oh, gosh, I don't know how many years ago, 20 years ago at least, I started working out a version of In the Pines that was something really different from anything that I had done before, and I sang it at the Freight. I don't think it was at an open mic, although it could have been. Anyway, I wasn't really sure that if I wanted to pursue it, and Suzanne was there, and she said how much she liked it and kind of encouraged me to sing it. So I did, and it's become a bit of a signature song, so I'd like to sing it for Suzanne and for you tonight. And this does have a chorus if you want to sing on it. I'm sure you know it. In the pines, where the sun never shines, and we shiver when the cold wind blows. The longest train I ever saw went down that Georgia line. The engine passed at 6 o'clock, and the cab passed by at 9. In the pines where the sun never shines, and we shiver when the cold wind blows. Woo-hoo, sweetheart, sweetheart, what have I done that makes you treat me so? I didn't bring nothing into this old world, take nothing when I go. In the pines where the sun never shines, and we shiver when the cold wind blows.
My husband was a railroad man, killed a mile and a half from town. His head was found neath the driving wheel, and his body ain't never been found. In the pines where the sun never shines, and we shiver when the cold wind blows. Ooh-hoo.
Love you, Suzanne.
Hi, I'm Bob Whitfield. I'm production manager here at the Freight. And, oh, look, there's somebody else. But, you know, there's somebody missing from this stage. And I'd like to ask Suzanne Fox to come up and sit on this very plush couch. So our next performer oh, you got all night. Our next performer worked here at the Freight when I first started, and then he went away to mysterious eastern lands and came back and became our new concessions manager. And he still sings and plays guitar, even if he doesn't have a microphone or a guitar near him. So please welcome, please welcome David Wagner.
Good evening, everyone. What a year already, huh? Yeah. Woo. I went to my psychic to try to start the year off on a good note. And I said, "Psychic, am I going to find true love this year?" She gazed into her crystal ball and told me, "The way your year's looking, you're going to be lucky to find your socks." Yeah. The next day, I fell in love with my socks. Thank you. Suzanne, we love you, and we're going to miss you. Thank you so much for everything. And I think this is the first song I ever played of my own that Suzanne heard, and she actually said she liked it, which was big because she's like, you know, I wanted to impress her because she's Suzanne. So I figured I'd play this one again tonight. She'd been 5 weeks on the trail, running whores in Reno, dealing cards and raising hell. He'd always been a moral man, he'd rather rob than steal. He won his horse in a game of poker and a hand that he did deal. Won his horse in a game of poker and a hand that he did deal. He loved a girl in Dallas. Her name was Mississippi Sue. got her drunk on whiskey and she did what bad girls do. He knew one day they'd marry, it was written in the stars. So he always left her silver and paid her tab down at the bar. Always left her silver and paid her tab down at the bar. Well, he spent the night in Denver at the Crazy Owl Saloon. He got a shave and changed his shirt to go howl at the moon. He found a game of poker, and into it he did slide, with an ace of clubs tucked in his sleeve and a pistol at his side. With an ace of clubs tucked up his sleeve and a pistol at his side. Well, things were going fine until he tried his trusty ace. He got caught by a skinny man with a scar running down his face. The man stood up, kicked back his chair and said, "What's your name, you cur?" He said, "My name is Hickory Jack, but you just call me sir." Said, "My name is Hickory Jack, but go on, just call me sir." Well, the man, he spit and snarled his lips and pointed at the cards. Said, "We don't deal well with cheaters here in this dear town of ours." Hickory Jack stood and placed his hand on the weapon at his side. Said, "Let's settle this like men do and follow me outside." Settle this like men do and follow me outside. Now Hickory Jack, he weren't afraid to let his pistol speak for him. He shot a man in Fresno one night jacked up on gin, and another man in Houston, it was the only thing to do. And he killed a man in Dallas when he insulted Sue. Yeah, he shot some man in Dallas when he insulted Sue. They walked out of the bar. The mountain moon was high and full and it glistened off the scar. Hickory Jack drew his gun, but the other man drew first. And he saw the Scarface man smile as the blood spread on his shirt. He saw the Scarface man smile as the blood spread on his shirt. Died that night at the age of 22. He loved to drink and cheat and fight, and a prostitute named Sue. He knew one day they'd marry, it was written in the stars. But he traded love for money in a lousy game of cards. He traded love for money in a lousy game of cards. Oh, he traded love for money in a lousy game of cards.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
David Wagner. You know, I don't get it. They didn't ask me to play a song. So I get to just sit up here and talk about Suzanne. You don't want to clear the room. So I wasn't quite sure what I was going to say about you to you, because I talked about you all weekend long at the Vienna Tang shows. So I will say that it cost a lot of money to move out of California. Who knew it? It costs a lot of money to live here, but it's a crazy amount of money to go across the nation and move to Florida. And Suzanne's son, Brandon, put together a GoFundMe page that you should all check out. And the URL's too long for anybody in the audience right now to write down, but go to GoFundMe and look for Help Suzanne Fox, and that'll pull it up, or do a Google search on that. And any little bit's going to help. We had a little bit of a bump over the weekend, but we're still about $4,000 short. And there's also the buckets in the lobby out by the Friends of the Freight that Sharon referred to earlier. And with that in mind, I have a gift for you from our performer over the weekend, Vienna Tang. She wanted to make sure that she made a donation to your cause. I was thinking about what Sharon said. Now I'm going to stand up. I was thinking about what Sharon said and how she first met you. And I had a similar experience, but I have to preface it with this, is that when I came to work at the Freight full time, I would watch Suzanne quite a bit because she just got it. She knew what the audience wanted. She knew what artists wanted. She had the history of the Freight behind her. It meant a lot to her. It wasn't just some part-time job, and it really showed. And so you were, in some ways, a role model. I don't bring a cat up on stage to have it meow, but, you know, yeah. So I have a story about Suzanne and me meeting for the first time, and so it's with all love that I tell this story. So I had a history of going out and recording live concerts for Americana artists. And one of the artists I worked with early on in the mid-'90s, around '96, was Gillian Welch and David Rawlings. And I got in touch with Gillian and said, you know, I'm in the area. I could come out and record your show. You're playing at this place called Freight and Salvage in Berkeley. I think I've been there once. Can I come over? And she's like, yeah, great. Just give your name at the door. So we zip ahead. I think it was March 20th, 1996. And this is at 1111 Freight, so you know it was the two big intimidating wooden doors, and with the big what was that thing that ring on the outside that was like the hammer, the Jacob Marley doorknob or something, and so I go up to the door. There's this huge line around the block, and I go up on the door and knock on the door, and there's no answer, and so I knock on the door a second time, a little bit louder, and no, that's later. The door creaks open, and this small woman with curly blonde hair sticks her head out and says, "What do you want?" And I'll give it to you. Sound check was still going on, and you were probably scrambling to get ready for the show, and you had no the heck who I am. So I explained to her that, you know, Gillian Welch said I could come over and record the show. And the next thing she did was say, well, let me check. Stay right there. And then she slammed the door shut in my face. So I went to the back of the line, because I wasn't just going to stand around. So I went to the back of the line, which was almost around the corner. And about 20 minutes pass, and all of a sudden I hear this voice. It's that voice again. And she's going, "Bob Whitfield! Where's Bob Whitfield?" Like I was in the Army. And that is how I met Suzanne for the very first time. God, I've been waiting to tell that story on stage for a long time. Yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah. Thank you. boss was. Yeah. So anyway, Suzanne, I want to say that you're such a big part of the freight, and I'm really going to miss you. I'm really going to miss coming in here on Friday nights, and you're not going to be here. I love working with you. I know it's a sad part of the show, but I do love working with you and everything you've done. I just can't say enough words. We're really going to miss you. I love you. Okay, now Claudia Russell has to follow that. Is Claudia ready? Okay, here's our own freight songbird, Claudia Russell.
So when I met Suzanne, okay, honestly, I think you scared the bejesus out of me. But in the most loving way, I have to say, I felt so taken care of and protected by you, and I think that many of us here do and did. She's totally a sweetie, I know, but she completely is. And I'm going to say she got all the artists to always write their name on the bottles in the back. That was your doing. And so now that we don't use bottles, but I'm well trained, so I wrote my name on my cup. And
That's right, I remember doing that.
and
I just met her tonight, but she seems like a nice person.
oh, that's funny. That's funny. Are you plugged? Or, no, not yet. Is there a plug for Irene?
I could give this up.
We could, we can give this up after this song. I could unplug and hand this to Irene. Okay. And I want to say one other thing about Suzanne. Suzanne sang in the Berkeley Broadway Singers, and yeah, you guys are wonderful. And I went to see them a few times, and I remember one of the times was at this beautiful church on a Sunday afternoon, and I sat up like way up high in the choir loft area, and I just was so moved by it, because I knew you were moved by that, by being part of that, and it just came through in her in the singing, and the whole choir was just infused with some wonderful Suzanne-ness for me, and I just have this, so it feels very, I just remember the sun coming in at a winter slant, and it was just lovely, and I know that singing and music means so much to her, so anyway, I'm sure going to miss you, and what Bob said about Friday nights is really true. So we're going to sing two songs, and one of them, this one is my song called Pirate Girls, because I think you might be an original pirate girl. Oh, there's another one. 2, 3. Summer of 1963, I wasn't the me I was yet to be. My days were filled with fun and sun and running. The world was as big as a whole backyard. If times were tough, they never felt hard. I thought everyone had pancakes upper Thursdays. Screen door banged 1,000 times a day, and my mom would yell, just stay out there and play. In her grown-up way, she knew this time wouldn't last forever. We were so bright, we were so young. The harder parts had not begun. If there were troubles, they weren't ours to care. We were running through the sprinklers in our underwear. Ollie, ollie, ox, and free, free, free. We both tried to fit behind that tree. There was only room for one, so you let me have it. The best of friends against the world. We were gonna be pirates, pirate girls, 'cause they had all the fun and we both knew it. We were so alive, we were so young. The harder parts had not begun. If there were troubles, they weren't ours to care. We were running through the sprinklers in our underwear. Now I long for those gentle days when tomorrow still seems so far away, and all we did was play, play, play much simpler games. The moving van went rolling by. Your dad bought us ice cream one last time. We laughed and used those popsicles like lipsticks. Then dusk slowed the day to a crawl. We played catch till you couldn't see the ball. And my mom called and I begged for just 5 more minutes. We were so bright, we were so young. The harder parts had not begun. If there were troubles, they weren't ours to care. We were running through the sprinklers in our underwear. If there were troubles, they weren't ours to care. We were running through the sprinklers in our underwear. Thank you, everybody. Heidi, I'm going to unplug and hand this to Irene, if that's okay. Okay? All right. Oh, wait. You may have to come over here. Okay. All right.
Yeah, why not switch? I agree.
Love you, Suzanne. You know, every time I come to the fray, I always wish I get to see Suzanne's face, because she, you know, I used to go to the old freight and the open mics over there, and she was, you know, she made it home. So anyway, please come back soon. The spell has not been broken, the haste lingers on. So I set out on the road, searching for the one who knows the cure. From the desert of Las Vegas, I passed through Silver Lake. The Central Coast is calling, for I hit my San Francisco Bay. The city used to be my lost and found, but when I reached my hometown, the shops changed all their names, and the birds in every tree I pass have new songs that they play. Nothing ever really stays the same. And And then I hear that band, they start to play. Hey, it was only rock and roll, only rock and roll, only rock and roll that brought me back. Only rock and roll, only rock and roll. It was only rock and roll that brought me back, brought me back. The wizards gave me potions, I must have tried them all, but nothing can take away the gray that loomed over my head. I know what it takes to make it rain. And then I hear the band, they start to play. Hey, it was only rock and roll, only rock and roll, only rock and roll that brought me back. Only rock and roll, only rock and roll. It was only rock and roll that brought me back, brought me back.
Hope it brings you back.
Thank you, Bruce, Claudia, and Irene. Our next act, another freight person, Celeste and Pete Madsen.
You guys are so quiet. Very, very reverent. I'm going to play both these guitars at the same time. Brilliant, right? Running with the devil. You're overwhelmed.
With happiness and sadness. I'm just going to turn all the knobs until, okay, great. All right. Hello.
It's like me yesterday when I was retuning.
Yeah. So, what do we do first?
Oh, let's do the one.
Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last show at the Middle Freight was an open mic. Yeah? And I had just started working there, and I got up the guts, and I played that open mic. And Suzanne announced me, and I have it on CD. I listen to it sometimes quite fondly. And through the amazing connections I've made here, I can now call myself a professional musician, and that's pretty amazing. So it's all because of Suzanne. And Pete had something to do with it, too, I guess. Oh, thank you. You're going to be very missed. I love you. And this is the song that I played that fateful night. If you want my loving, if you really do, don't be afraid, baby, just ask me. You know I'm gonna give it to you. Oh, and I do declare, I wanna see you with it. Stand outside your house, little boy, you gonna get it. 'Cause I love you. Baby, 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 I love you. Ain't no doubt about it. Baby, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Baby, I love you. If you really wanna kiss me, go right ahead, I don't mind. All you got to do is snap your fingers and I'll come running, I ain't lying. Oh, what you want, a little boy, you know you got it. I'll deny myself before I see you without it. 'Cause I love you. Baby, 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 I love you. Ain't no doubt about it. Baby, I love you. Baby, 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 I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Baby, I love you. Someday you might wanna run away and leave me sitting here to cry. But if it's all the same to you, baby, I ain't gonna stop you from saying goodbye. Baby, I love you. Baby, I want you. Baby, I need you. Got to have you, baby. Don't let your neighbors say I don't need you. Don't let your low-down friends tell you I don't want you. Baby, I love you. Baby, I love you. Baby, I love you. Thank you. Love ya. All right. Here's another song that I first did at an open mic here. It's part of our repertoire now. Blind Faith song. Come down off your throne.
Hope you find your way back here, Suzanne. We love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more time for Celeste and Pete. Our next performer literally grew up at the Freight. He's played here many times in many different guises. Would you please welcome Patrick Landeza?
Couldn't decide which guitar to bring, so I bought both of them. Aloha, everybody. Oh, come on, Freight, aloha. So good to see you. My name is Patrick Ahakawilakamaholilani Landeza, and I'm from the island of Berkeley, California. Born and raised. I was born and raised right down the street. I guess I was a part of the middle Freight. And that's how I learned how to play slack key guitar. People would always ask, how in the world did a Berkeley guy learn how to play? I used to go and watch all these legends perform. And so I was very thankful. And that's when I met Suzanne. I met Suzanne 28 years ago. And I had hair. Lots of it. But on behalf of all the masters and the slack key artists that came throughout the Freight, a lot of my teachers are no longer here, but you had experienced all of them. On behalf of them, we say thank you so much. And for me, I always say if the Freight had a child, I would be that child. I don't know who the mommy is, but, or the daddy. I don't know who the daddy, I know the mommy. Do you have my guitar? You sure? Oh. It doesn't like me today. Huh. It was working earlier, just to let you know. Yeah. Gosh. I miss Berkeley. I live in San Leandro now. Yeah, San Lorenzo, it's okay. All right, let's transform it to here. How's that? No, it's okay. We'll just, yeah, that's all good. No worries. That's just how it goes. But at this time, because I'm a professional, I have tons of Suzanne stories, but I'm going to share with you one Suzanne story. Unplugging. As I said, I learned from the greats of slack key guitar. Born and raised in Berkeley. My co-op number is 22072. And there was this one time, and as I said, I mean, when you talking about Susie and Peter Rowan and Lori, and I love bluegrass. If there was ever a time, and it's gonna happen, I'm gonna make this album called Slack Grass. Slack key and bluegrass. Yes. So there was this opportunity where Steve Baker had says, we need you to play at this and then also be Santa. And I'm like, okay, it's Lori Lewis's holiday review. Okay, so I'll do that. So they said it's in December, and I'm like, oh, crap. I have 5 kids, folks, and the third one was going to be born right around that time, but I accepted it. And so I'm like, okay. So I told my wife, honey, I'm going to do this show. And when is it? It's like, it's in December 17th. You know that's my due date, right? But it's Lori Lewis. So a week later, I went to my friend Paul Blake right up the street, East Bay Media Center. I'm like, Paul, I finally get to play on the same bill as Lori Lewis. It's like, Pat, that's awesome. I saw that at the Freight. And my wife was there. It's like, but the problem is, she's due on the same day. And Paul turned to my wife and says, but it's Lori Lewis. Jim Harrington, music editor of the Oakland Tribune, is doing an article on this. And I'm very close with him, and my wife was with us, and we're having lunch, and he's interviewing me. And he goes, oh my God, how does it feel to be doing this show, and you're with Lori Lewis and all these folks? And I go, I'm so excited. I've always heard, I love her music. But, you know, my son is due during that same time. Are you serious? Then he turned to my wife. Says, how do you feel? It's like, he better be there in the hospital. And Jim Harrington goes, but it's Lori Lewis. Okay, so, you know, like I said, I have 5 kids. And I'm like, okay, normally the children don't come on time. Comes the 17th of December. My wife goes, I don't feel well. Like, what? I think I'm feeling contractions. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the same day. So thank goodness, although I lived in San Leandro, the hospital was Altabates. So at 9 a.m., I take my wife to the hospital. And we're sitting there, and all I keep doing is looking at my watch. Sound check is at 5. Doing the math on the other kids. And I keep telling the nurses, hey, I gotta make it down the street. What are we looking at right now? Well, she's at 2 centimeters. I go, we're good to go. We're good to go. My sister-in-law arrives. It's 4:45. I've timed this. Straight down. Get to Addison Street. I get there and I go, well, first I go, honey, I'll be right back. And she looked at me, she goes, damn it, you better be back. My sister-in-law goes, where are you going? I go, never mind, I'll be right back. I get to the Freight and I see Suzanne. And I go, Suzanne, where am I in the bill? And Suzanne goes, I think you're in the second half. I'm like, oh crap. It's like, what's wrong, Patrick? They go, my wife is at Altabates right now, and she's in labor. And then Suzanne's freaking out because Suzanne goes, do you know what I do for my day job? So I had no idea. I thought she just made brownies and makes amazing punch. And so she goes like this. She goes, well, how far is she? And I go, well, they just told me she's at 4. She goes, Patrick, you need to get back to the hospital. I go, Suzanne, it's Lori Lewis. So she's freaking out, and she's behind, and so I go to Lori. And it's the first time I ever met Lori. And I go, hi. It's like, oh, I love your music, Lori. I'm a huge fan, I swear, because I'm from Berkeley, she's from Berkeley. And then I go, Lori, would it be okay if I went on maybe the first set? And she looked irritated, right? And I'm like, oh, crap, she's never going to invite me back. So, well, what for? Because I have you on the second set. We're all set. I go, well, my wife is at Altabates and she's about to give birth to our child. She's dilated about 4 centimeters and Suzanne's freaking out. And she goes, why the hell are you here? Because you're Lori Lewis. And that's my Lori Lewis Suzanne story. Henanika alalai lalai lai tuhivi nani oe lai lalai lai. Henanika alalai lalai lai tuhivi nani oe lai lalai lai. Henanika alalai lalai lai tuhivi nani oe lai lalai lai. Henanika alalai lalai lai tuhivi nani oe lai lalai lai. Oh, lai la lai lai, kamakaniko olo, lai la lai lai, henu anu oh, lai la lai lai, kamakaniko olo, lai la lai lai, henu anu oh, lai la lai lai, kamakaniko olo, lai la lai lai. Henanika Allah, lai la lai lai, tuhivi nani oe, lai la lai la lai la lai la lai. Hainaka Allah, lai la lai lai, tuahivi nani oe, lai la lai lai. Hainaka Allah, lai la lai lai, tuahivi nani oe, lai la lai lai. Hainaka Allah, lai la lai lai, tuahivi nani oe, lai la lai lai. Hainaka Allah, lai la lai lai, tuahivi nani oe, lai la lai la lai la lai la lai. Hainaka Allah, lai la lai lai, tuahivi nani oe, lai la lai lai. Hainaka Allah, lai la lai lai, tuahivi nani oe, lai la lai lai. Hainaka Allah, lai la lai lai, tuahivi nani oe, lai la lai lai. Hainaka Allah, lai la lai lai, tuahivi nani oe, lai la. Lai la lai la lai lai lai, lai la lai la lai, lai la lai la lai lai lai, lai la lai la lai. As I said earlier, I no longer live in Berkeley, but the closest thing I have to a home is here, the Freight. And I'm sad but yet happy. But once again, we're losing a wonderful member of the family. I'm very grateful, Suzanne, for these past 28 years that you've been so kind to me when I was just learning. And now, able to travel the world and play this beautiful music. And it was because of the Freight and people like you. Mahalo, Suzanne. God bless you. And ahui ho until we meet again. Aloha, Freight. Thank you so much. Mahalo.
Patrick Lendeza, thank you so much. So while we're setting up for our next performer, Suzanne, I have something that you're going to need tonight. And I have a little gift for you that I want you to take from the Frayed, a little keepsake that was designed by Damon Guthrie, of all people. And I think all you folks will know this word. There you go, Suzanne, frame that.
I'll put it on my front door.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up the first half of the show with a pair of iconic Berkeley musicians. Just one iconic musician, that would be the person that we spent talking about, which was Laurie Lewis.
I was really worried listening to that story, wondering, uh-oh, what did I say? But that's good, I said the right thing. And it reminded me that that year I played Santa, I think. Because Patrick was supposed to be Santa and he wasn't there. Suzanne, I've known Suzanne for 38 years, I guess, as long as she's been at the Freight. And she's seen the Freight go through all kinds of growing pains, and she's been a real constant here and somebody who's really embodied the spirit of the original Freight and helped it to grow into a place like this and still maintain integrity. So, thank you, Suzanne. Suzanne requested this song, and I'm going to do it for you. This is my Hardanger fiddle, which I almost never play. And it's a really good thing she didn't request it like this morning, because I went and got the Hardanger fiddle out of the closet, and carpet beetles had infested the case and eaten the bohair, and it was out of tune, and I started tuning it up, and the wire that holds the tailpiece just came loose and broke. So I had a lot of work to do to get this together, and I thank you for asking me to do this, because yeah, it was just sitting in there and being so neglected. So it's a song I wrote called The Maple Cement.
When I was alive, the birds would nest upon my boughs, and all through long winter nights, the storms would round me howl. And when the day would come, I'd raise my branches to the sun. I was the child of earth and sky, and all the world was one.
the birds no longer sing in me, and I feel no more the wind and rain as when I was a tree, but bound so tight in wire strings, I have no room to grow. And I am but the slave who sings when master draws the bow. But sometimes from my memory I can sing the birds in flight, and I can sing of sweet dark earth and endless starry nights. But oh, my favorite song of all, I truly do believe, is the song the sunlight sang to me while dancing on my leaves. Thank you. Thanks so much. I'd like to invite Tom Rosem to come and join me for a song. Actually, lead us in a song. We're trying to figure out what else to do tonight, and here, you need a little help here. Oh, I could do it. Okay.
I've been trained.
Tom sings this great song about moving to Florida. He does. But unfortunately, the town you're moving to is, what is it?
I'm moving to DeLeon Springs.
Yeah,
DeLeon Springs
that will not
doesn't
fit
fit into the song. So we're going to have to just stick with the way it was written or made up as Tampa. And
Is this mic on?
good, because you're going to want to hear this.
Should I be on the other side or something?
Sure. You want
No,
to?
I'll just move.
Okay, I'll move this way.
Do not try this at home.
Oh, I should say there's going to be an intermission right after this, and I should tell you I will be back here next week on a Wednesday night, I believe, for Words and Music with Claudia Russell and Don Henry and Nina Gerber. And we are going to swap songs, and we don't know what we're going to play. It's going to be amazing.
When you say swap songs, you mean you're
I'm
going to sing Claudia's songs? She's going to sing yours?
Yeah, no,
Right?
no, actually, we'll just go do a song sharing session.
You'll share songs.
No share songs.
No, not share. Oh, never mind. I first met Suzanne in 1984 at the Old Freight when I first moved to town from Flagstaff. Ah, yes, I remember it well. My mama, she told me when I was 6 years old, you gotta be a hustler, gosh darn your heart looks old. Well, I got my ticket, and I tell you what I think I'll do. I'm going down to Tampa to settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. I got my ticket, and I tell you what I think I'll do. I'm going down to Tampa to settle down. Well, conductor, conductor, won't you let me ride your blind? You gotta have a ticket, you know this train ain't mine. Hey, I got my ticket, and I tell you what I think I'll do. I'm going down to Tampa to settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. I got my ticket, and I tell you what I think I'll do. I'm going down to Tampa to settle down. Well, my mama, she told me, and my papa, he told me too. Don't let no West Virginia woman make a gosh darn fool out of you. Hey, I got my ticket, and I tell you what I think I'll do. I'm going down to Tampa to settle down. Everybody sing. Settle down, settle down, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. I got my ticket, and tell you what I think I'll do. I'm going down to Tampa to settle down. Do it again. Well, I'm leaving, and your crying won't make me stay. In fact, the more you trouble, well, the more it drives me away. I got my ticket, and I tell you what I think I'll do. I'm going down to Tampa to settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. I got my ticket, and I tell you what I think I'll do. I'm going down to Tampa to settle down. I'm going down to Tampa to settle down. Thank you.
Tommy Rosem, Suzanne Fox. Going down to De Leon Springs to settle down. You're never going to settle down.
Welcome back, everyone. What a beautiful, beautiful, bittersweet evening this is. We are, and have, as you've heard from the stage here many times, sad to lose Suzanne. But we've had such wonderful time with her, and it's great to hear these stories. And my name's Tim McGraw. I am a night manager here. I'm also the volunteer coordinator. And I know Suzanne. Suzanne? I'm here. Okay. She has heard me say this many, many times. It's a very simple principle. Everything I know about being a night manager, I have learned from Suzanne Fox. So, very proud to say that. And we all have different connections, and I had an idea, and it's only going to just take a second. We're going to raise the house lights, and if you know her from one community or another, you can stand up for more than one, but if you know Suzanne from the Broadway Singers, stand up.
Say Camp Sierra.
What?
Camp Sierra.
Okay. If you know Suzanne from Camp Sierra, stand up. Yay. Yes, Planned Parenthood. If you know Suzanne from Planned Parenthood, stand up. And if you know Suzanne from Open Mic or the Freight and Salvage, that would be just about everybody, I imagine. I don't think we forgot. Oh, what's that?
Oh, Crestmont School.
Yes. That's right.
Crestmont School. Yay.
Crestmont School. And you know, I was thinking there's also one other, if you know her from the Child Care Brandon Connection, you know, Mothers Group, go ahead and stand. I know there's a group of mothers that she has lunch with frequently. The Freight Singers. Do you know Suzanne from the Freight Singers? Yeah. Okay, there's only a couple of groups I want to ask to stand up now. We've mentioned the Freight. I do want to say, you know, I encourage you to give to the buckets out here for Suzanne's move, but it's, and you've seen the Freight staff around, you know their names, but if you are on the board or have ever been on the board of the Freight and Salvage, could you stand up?
I was on the board.
6
I was
years.
the chair of the board.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years of Suzanne's life. Oh, take those house lights up one more time, because if you are a volunteer at the Freight and Salvage, could you stand up? So these last two groups I mentioned, they give their time and their treasure without expecting anything in return except a wonderful time. So let's hear it for the volunteers and let's hear it for the board. And we do have a mystery guest that you'll learn about very soon, but we wanted to build the suspense. And Brandon is here, of course. You're welcome to come and sit down here anytime, Brandon. And I'm sure most of you know, like some other people you're going to hear in just a minute, Brandon was pretty much here.
He slept under the table while we made brownies, and then when he was big enough, he helped make brownies. And one night, when I left the old Freight, I kept thinking I forgot something, and I got in my car, and he was sleeping on the couch. And I had to go back and get him.
Okay, so we have a couple of performers now. It's this second set you're going to find is the Freight, the Next Generation. But we'd like to bring out here some current staff members, Leah Wollenberg and Annika Odell Smedley. Do I need to set anything up?
Hey, hey. So Annika and I both grew up basically, well, not here, but lower down on Addison. We were little freight terrors, freighter tots, whatever you want to call us. And that, of course, means that we grew up, or at least I grew up, and I'm pretty sure Annika did too, associating live music with Suzanne Fox. It's like the two basically went together. And I remember seeing, like, when Andrea and Celeste started doing the stage announcements the first time, I was like, are we in the right place? They're talking about detritus, but I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. And I remember when I started working here as a counter person, the first night I worked with Suzanne, I felt like I was working with a celebrity. I was like, oh my God, it's her. So it has been an absolute joy, Suzanne. We love you so much, you know. Yes, Bubbles, good. You basically, you helped me so much to learn how to do my job here at the Freight, and I cannot thank you enough for that. We both really like Doc Watson, and he and his son Merle Watson wrote this great song called Southbound, which is what Suzanne is at this point. We started futzing with the lyrics just to change, thinking that we were just going to change a few just to make it, fit the circumstances a little bit more, and then we went hog wild. So this is vaguely.
See how it goes.
We're going to see how it goes. This is vaguely Southbound by Merle and Doc Watson. I've been here years or more, stuck in this old city. Folks that have to park around here, they're the ones I pity. I'm sick of this traffic, and the blues are the only songs I ever seem to pick. Get out my car and walk the streets till I get blisters on my feet. I'm southbound. Well, I'm alright late at night, sitting by my window, counting sheep, but I can't sleep for listening to that rainbow. I begin to pine when I hear that big old engine rolling down the line. I'm going back to spend some time where I can have fun. If I ain't got a dime, I'm southbound. Southbound, I'm heading down, gonna be a Florida resident. A dance that swings state round and round, maybe even a run for president. So goodbye to you, 'cause I long to see those Everglades I'm turning blue. Listen to the engine rattle and roar, she's taking me to that Florida shore. I'm southbound. We're gonna miss her, that's for sure, but 2020 Florida will need her more. She's southbound.
Well, you know what? You might want to save those because next are our mystery guests, and we know how much you like vocal music. We think you're going to recognize them, so let's have them come on out.
Well, Lily's not going to fall asleep on the couch, but she is with me wherever I go, and a lot of that time is spent here at the Freight, so I figured she might as well come sit with Fox. I do want to say she looks like some kind of gangster up on stage. I walked in tonight, and I was like, what, is she the boss? She has just got a couch on the stage tonight? I'm worried I'm going to hit this thing. Here we go. So, my name is Zoe Ellis. This is Brian Dyer. And we pretend to lead the Freight Singers. You know what's interesting, though, Fox? I've been going to the Freight since I was pretty young. I mean, down on Addison. And I'm going to be really honest, and because you're really honest with me, I don't remember. I was there all the time, and I don't know that we ever met. Did we? No. See? I met your dad. She met my dad, right? Everybody met my dad, Fox. That doesn't really count for anything in 2019. But I will say, I love my dad, don't get me wrong, but I will say, I really met Fox when she got to the Freight Singers, the first session. And she fearlessly planted herself dead center of the front row and has never left me alone. She is so hard on me, and I love every second of it. So if you ever had a moment of your life that you thought that our hard times and our mean banter to each other at choir, that I didn't love you a whole lot, and I'm super pissed that you're leaving town. I just got hold of you, you know? I just got hold of you. So anyway, this is a tune, this is serious, that I like to sing at funerals.
She didn't tell me that part.
No. But what's funny is she didn't know I was singing tonight, and she walked up, and someone said to her right in front of me, "It's like you're at your funeral, but you're there, like awake." And I was like, "Right, exactly." This is actually, I sing this at funerals because it's so beautiful. And because people ask me to sing at funerals. I love you. I hope you're really safe and that you feel well taken care of there the way that you do here. And when you don't, I hope you come home and let us love on you a little bit, yeah? Okay. We'll send you the music for the Freight Singers, and if you're in town, you just come sing. I feel like I should leave the first seat in the choir just blank at every rehearsal, right? Does anyone else call her Fox, or is it just me? Foxy. Her old boyfriend, see? I see her name with 3 X's at the end, but that's another conversation. I called Brian yesterday and said, "Come on, learn this song. Let's figure it out." We practiced it once upstairs, so we'll see what happens. Ready? If it's magic, then why can't it be everlasting? Like the sun that always shines, like the poets in this rhyme, like the galaxies in time. If it's pleasing, then why can't it be never leaving? Like the day that never fails, like on seashores there are shells, like the time that always tells. It holds the key to every heart throughout the universe. It fills you up without a bite and quenches every thirst. So, if it's special, then with it, why aren't we as careful as making sure we dress in style, posing pictures with a smile, keeping danger from a child, 'cause it holds the key to every heart throughout the universe. It fills you up without a bite and quenches every thirst. So if it's magic, why can't we make it everlasting? Like the lifetime of the sun, it will leave no heart undone. There's enough for everyone. Whoa,
Let's take a selfie.
Brian Dyer, Zoe Ellis. So I mentioned earlier that this is going to seem like the freight, the next generation. When you think of the freight and salvage, you often think of Laurie Lewis, you often think of Susie Thompson, you often think of these folks. And this fella that's going to be next has been coming around just at the end of the middle freight and into the new home here. And he's just like become our house singer-songwriter, I think, pretty much. But you know, the first time, I don't know, when you first heard him at an open mic?
I did, and I was totally overwhelmed by his voice and his writing. He's the most amazing writer.
And since then, he's had a few shows of his own. He's got a new CD as well that was recorded right here on this stage. Let's welcome Maurice Tanny.
I'm going to go into this DI here. Yeah, I've been at it for about 10 years now at the Freight, and I still pretty much feel like the new guy on the block. It's the Freight is such an institution, and there's just a group of people that I associate with the Freight. They are the heart of it, and they've made me feel so welcome over these last 10 years. And Suzanne, you are truly at the heart of the heart for me. I'm going to do a couple of songs that Suzanne requested. And if I can get this thing to sit still. I think
I took Tesser's sound class.
I think we could turn this down a little bit.
Very funny, Heidi.
So yeah, actually, so I guess the last time I will have gotten to work with Suzanne was when we recorded this CD that we were just talking about here. It'll be out the next month, but I happen to have a secret pre-release copy for you. This is it. This really is nowhere. There's a red dirt scratch up the mountainside, 8 miles long and 1 car wide. My old Buick's at the top in a gravel parking lot. There's a 50-foot trailer and a 100-foot mast, a 50,000-watt clear channel blast across the western states. I'm a voice without a face. Graveyard shift, midnight to 6. All-night drivers and the urban hicks. I'm pulling down the feed, but I'm burying the lead. Out in the distance I can see the lights dotting the horizon on the clear nights. Are you listening? We're taking calls. This is Radio City. Top of the hour, it's the lover's line, but no caller's had a heart as broke as mine. I whisper in your ear, as if only you can hear. I say those things I should have said. I go where I feared to tread, but I know that it's too late to negotiate. Out in the distance I can see the lights dotting the horizon on the clear nights. Are you listening? We're taking calls. This is Radio City. Well, I was a fool to flee from love. I don't know what I was scared of, but look at where I am. This really is nowhere. A million words won't win you back. A million tears stained my heart black. Still the words leak from my pen, and the tears start up again. Out in the distance I can see the lights dotting the horizon on the clear nights. I hope you're listening. I wish you'd call. This is Radio City. This is Radio City. This really is nowhere. This, Suzanne suggested this song. It bears only possibly the slightest relationship to having anything to do with her, but there are some key phrases, I suppose, in here. It was a new day, and at the edge of town, she pulled up to the sign by the light of the rising sun. And with a new brush and some old paint, she lowered the population here by one. She's painting her new dress red, as dark as the color of blood in the pale moonlight. Her new dress is red tonight. Tonight. She'd painted herself into a corner. There was nowhere to go in that town of brown and gray. Now she's sketching a new horizon. It's wide and it's straight and it never fades away. Yeah, she's painting her new dress red, as dark as the color of blood in the pale moonlight. Her new dress is red tonight. Tonight. Yeah. And it's a still night in a still life. She's cleaning her brushes in a bucket of kerosene. And it's a new day in a new town. A man in the bucket and she'll have her slate wiped clean. Yeah, she's painting her new dress red, as dark as the color of blood in the pale moonlight. Her new dress is red tonight. Yeah, she's painting her new dress red, as dark as the color of blood in the pale moonlight. Her new dress is red tonight. 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 Suzanne, thank you so much for me, for my wife Janine, who was, all the time we worked here, all the time we've been here. It's all you've been at the heart of it. So thank you very much. Right. Heidi, I'm going to yank this tube out at the end of this thing. Okay, good. Is there what?
Maurice Tanny, everyone. Our next performer is a former member of the board, a huge champion of our open mic. And if you've never been to an open mic at the Freight, here's your opportunity. Suzanne's last open mic is tomorrow night. Yes. It will be a bittersweet night tomorrow. Oh. I guess we'll have to toss a lottery for one performer tomorrow night, huh? Anyway, let me get this down. Hold that a second.
I'll hold this a second.
So, very happy to have you as part of this. So, let's welcome Clyde Leland.
So, did you hear about the geologist whose wife left him because he kept taking her for granted? That is a Suzanne Fox joke. She tells those jokes between performers at every open mic. And it is part of the tradition of open mics. Open mic is a real community. It is a real, there are people who refer to it as their church. I've been going to the open mic for 22 years. And Suzanne is a big part of the reason I go to the open mic. We're a church. I won't call her the high priestess of the church. She's more like the mother superior, you know? Put your hand out. You'll have to forgive me. I have somewhat limited experience with mothers superior, but the one in Sound of Music is it, you know, making the disapproving faces and tisk noises, and then totally encouraging you. Then if I could tell you the number of times that Suzanne has said to me about someone else, I can't stand, I can't stand, and then you know, of course, I'll agree with her and I'll say yeah, and she'll go, oh, but she's so sweet. But so the Freight is a big part of my life now, and Suzanne is the reason. I have been going to open mic for 22 years because Suzanne has encouraged me again and again. Suzanne brought me onto the board of the Freight and Salvage, and I was on the board because of Suzanne. I don't think anyone has mentioned tonight that Suzanne used to be chair of the board. And then she encouraged me through open mic, and she always encouraged me to keep writing songs. And now I do the Freighter Tots program with the toddler song circles on Saturday mornings here. And also not mentioned tonight is the fact that Suzanne has 3 children's CDs that she has recorded. They're wonderful. I sing the songs in Freighter Tots, and she's helped me with Freighter Tots. When I have had to leave town or been sick, she's taken over, and my only fear is that I'll come back and everybody will go, "Where's that woman who was so good?" You know? So my wife has referred to Suzanne as my freight wife. So I thought I'd sing this song, which I wrote on my wedding day 13 years ago. There was a second marriage for both of us. I reached a point in life where I look back on things I'd done. I look ahead to things my kids will do. Now I look beside me and I see you standing there. And I look forward to the things I'll do with you. And so today I promise I will stay with you, and we'll make a stand for life and for romance. I will have and hold you at least till I'm too old to, and feel lucky I ever got the chance. I've always had my friends that I could share my wishes with, and I've had my share of wishes that came true. But I found you and we already had so much we shared. My wish now is to share my life with you. And so today I promise I will stay with you, and we'll make a stand for life and for romance. I will have and hold you at least till I'm too old to, and feel lucky I ever got the chance. I've never been a planner, I just take things as they come, 'cause then things always come at me like they are new. But life is short and seems like it gets shorter all the time. So now I plan to spend my time with you. And so today I promise I will stay with you, and we'll make a stand for romance. I will have and hold you at least till I'm too old to, and maybe I'll even learn to dance, and feel lucky I ever got the chance. Thank you. Suzanne, I'm gonna miss getting quotes in my email every morning that inspire me for the day. And I'll look for pictures every morning of the sunrise. The sunrise is over the ocean in Florida, huh? But mostly I'm going to miss you. I love you, Suzanne. Thank you for everything.
Clyde Leland, thank you very much, Clyde. Next, we're going to hear from someone everybody who knows Suzanne will probably recognize. Her son, Brandon Sheffield, is going to tell us a little bit.
Hello. So I don't really have anything specifically prepared to say, but I came up here because if I didn't, I know that my mom would be like, it was a really lovely night, but would have been nice if you said a little something. So Patrick Landeza said that he was, born here, but I'm 37. My mom's been working here 38 years. I was in utero, I think, when you started working here, pretty much. So the Freight and Salvage has been a part of my entire life. There's not a year that it has not been a part of. I worked here for 20-something years. And so any of you that know me probably know me mostly as a young person. And I have to say, you're all looking very young yourselves, these 38 years later. Yes, ancient myself. But, the Freight gave me a really great foundation of music. Growing up here and listening to all these folks all these years has really given me a deep appreciation of music of a wide variety because I could hear what the roots were. And watching the first half of this set and seeing Eric and Susie and Tom and Lori, it's like I've seen these people so many hundreds of times in my life that it's like they're my parents too, in a way. So I thank you for that, and I really thank all of you for being here and supporting my mom and letting her know that she's loved, and it means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. And if you want to support Suzanne in her move to Florida, we'll have some buckets out in the lobby as you leave this evening. And feel free to drop in a spare $1 or $5, or maybe you've got a Benjamin on you. I don't know. Some people do. Some people do. So our next performer is another former board member, I think current board member, isn't that right? And let's hear it for Barbara Higbee.
Should I talk in here? Sure. Suzanne, I can't believe you're leaving. You can't leave. You can't leave. So let's see. Here's a card from most of the board members. They all want to say thank you. The board is, as you know, it's a nonprofit, so we have a whole bunch of people that try to raise money all the time to keep this place going, and that's what we do. So Suzanne requested that I sing some Joni Mitchell tonight, and I'm going to do that. And she is such an expert. I don't know everything that's been said tonight because I was actually at a board meeting and I came, but I know that she knows a heck of a lot about kids because when I was pregnant, my daughter's 16 now, when I was pregnant, every time she'd see me, she'd say, "You're 10 and a half weeks," and it'd be exactly, like, "You were 13 and 0.3 days," it's like, yeah, how do you know that? So I'm going to do a little piece of mine, a piano piece called Baby Buddha, and then go into the song that she requested. So. And thank you, Suzanne. We won't, you just have to come back a lot. Yeah, you better.
on Christmas, and they're cutting down trees. They're putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. But it don't snow here, it just stays pretty green. Gonna make a lot of money and I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I'd teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry. He tries hard to help me and he puts me at ease. Loves me so naughty, it makes me weak in the knees. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I'm so hard to handle and I'm selfish and I'm sad and I've gone lost the best baby that I ever had. I wish I had a river I could skate away. I wish I had a river so long I'd teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby say goodbye.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, folks. So it's you and me up here now. And I've been asked to tell a little story, and I have a little story. My first encounter with Suzanne Fox, it was on December 31st, 2000. The world had been turned upside down a little bit by 9/11. I'm a bachelor living at home, self-employed, working all day. The only thing that gets me out of the house is the dog walking twice a day. And I decided to call the freight. It's New Year's Eve. I've got nobody. I got nothing to do. And I call, and this woman answers the phone, and I said, "Do you take volunteers?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Do you need any volunteers tonight?" And she said, "Yes, we do." "Is there any way I can volunteer?" "Yes, be here at 7 and don't be late." But as I've previously said, this second set is a lot about the new generation of the freight, and we have an outstanding performer that's been coming to open mic for about a year, And she told a story at the last open mic, and you weren't in the room, and we've asked her to come up here and tell it to you, tell it again. So let's welcome Willa Mamet.
I'm so happy to get to tell you this story. I was, That's all right. I like shouting, you know, at the back of women's heads. I'm sure somebody was. I understand that completely. Hi. And hello to all of you. Thank you for being here tonight. Hi. Hello. It's such a, I'm a little bit speechless, and for those of you who know me know that that's rather unusual. So I'm a musician. I come from a family of musicians. Everyone makes music. It's how we say hello. It's how we say goodbye. It's how we pass the time in between. It's how we ignore each other. I also am, at least currently, the last in a long and unbroken line of avowed, curmudgeonly, badgerish straight talkers. So when I met Suzanne, I thought she was a sweetnik, unlike evidently many of you who seem to think she's rather brash. I don't know. I just thought, oh, what an absolutely sparkling human being. And so that was, I moved to the Bay 10 years ago from New England, and I'd been coming to the Freight ever since, but I had never been to the open mic. But May, I think it was 5th, 2017, I don't know why, but I decided to come to listen. I had had an absolute shit sandwich of a day. I don't remember the details, but I remember it was bad enough for this bookworm couch potato to get on a bicycle and ride from Oakland to Berkeley in the like misty rain to listen to strangers play who knew what sort of music. And all I knew was that it was free and it was happening and it would get me out of my house. And it was music, so really how bad could it be? And I arrived here, and I locked up my bike, and I walked in the door, and I didn't know how it worked, but it seemed like there was a system. Like I could feel the sort of machinations happen. It were like everyone but me, which is like introvert's nightmare. Everyone but me seemed to know like what the deal was, and so it's like, oh God, there's a deal. Everyone knows what it is. Okay, and this darling, sparkly-eyed woman said to me, welcome. And I said, hello. And because I was all sort of like in my own head of the having been home alone all day with the bad day and the thing. And she said, are you here to play? And I said, no, because I wasn't. I was here to listen. I had been playing at that point, playing out professionally, but with a duo for like 6 years. And he would play and we would both sing, and that was that. So she asked me to play, and I said, no, I'm not here to play. And she said, are you sure? And I had actually just been offered my first solo gig by some people who I think thought, well, you sing, don't you play stuff, right? And at the time I didn't. I messed around on the piano as I had my whole life, but I didn't consider myself a player, in part because I'm exposed to people like this all, you know, it's like, no, I just mess around on the piano, and everyone in my family plays so much better than I do, and I'm just some idiot kid who's had a bad day. And so in the face of that first gig, I was in basically an abject panic and had been for some weeks and had no idea. I was just completely convinced that I was going to eat shit and die and probably light a room on fire somehow in the process. And that was like 3 weeks out or something from whenever this was. So I arrived by accident at an open mic, and a darling, sparkly-eyed woman looked at me and said, don't you want to play? And it was, I don't know if any of you have ever had the experience of the cosmos speaking to you through the face and the voice of a stranger, but it felt sort of like an angelic column had somehow occupied this curly-headed, blonde, very nice lady. Thank you. Yeah, angelic column. And I said, oh, I don't have, you know, and started to sort of stutter. And she said, well, what do you play? And I said, I don't really, I sing. She said, you could sing. And I said, I didn't. And she said, well, do you play something? and then it started to get a little pointy in the eyes. And I felt a little bit the way like one of those Gary Larson bugs must feel when they're being like pinned by someone. And I said, I guess I play piano, but I don't have a piano. And I was in the lobby, and so she was facing the street, and I was sort of facing here. And she said, well, we have a piano. And it was like the camera panned over her shoulder. And I felt like it was sort of a moment where the wheel of my life turned one notch, because it felt absolutely, cosmically, spiritually, and evidently relationally impossible to say no. Because not only would my soul collapse in the face of this angelic column telling me to do what in fact I am here to do, but evidently this very nice stranger was going to eat me alive. So I managed to play a song, and I think I mostly sweat through probably whatever jacket I was wearing, pretending that the audience didn't exist. And then Tim ran up and said, wait, what's your name and who are you and will you play another one? And I thought, I haven't thrown up yet, I guess I could play another one. And it was, I can't believe that's only been like a year and a half ago. So much of my life has changed so extraordinarily since joining the community here at the open mic. And even though I had been to so many shows here, really walking into a room that feels like family now, at least familial, you know, even when there are people who I haven't met yet, there's some, to me, and perhaps this is silliness, and if I've ever given you too friendly a greeting, I apologize, but to me there feels like an assumption of we're here for some overlapping good faith reason, and it has something to do with music thriving in the hands of and in the hearts of community. And now I'm booking my first 2 solo tours and still playing with my duo, but also really letting music live in my life. And that is because I mean, I hate it. It's just been 2 and 3, and I don't know, it's like Shavuos yet, but like there's been some hours of people saying da 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 because of Suzanne, but I will say because of Suzanne. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Willa. Willa Mamet, everyone, and will you be here tomorrow night? Okay, great. Thank you. And I have to mention, Will has really become a huge women's music kind of, I don't want to say promoter because that's not the right thing for the music business, but a huge champion of women's music, and she's really become a part of the open mic here. So we were really happy to hear that story and glad that she could share it with us again. So here's a face you recognize. I understand there's a little short one. Let me get that for you.
Yeah, here. It's an interlude.
This is an interlude. Oh, you have it. Okay. All right. Is that tall enough?
It's tall enough. Okay, so the writer of this didn't want to sing it. Just saying, David. So I'm going to sing it for you because I felt like it really needed to be sung, okay? But I don't really know how the song goes, so we'll... Suzanne takes the stage at the open mic. She guides us. She tells us all to pick up our garbage and detritus. And you know that she's half crazy, but that's why she wants to work here. And she feeds you soup and flatbreads that come all the way from Shattuck. And then she turns to tell you that she thinks she lost her keychain. And you get onto her wavelength and you follow her around and say, it's right there on the counter. And she loves all the musicians, but not so much if they stay late. And we know that we will miss her, 'cause Suzanne, we think you're pretty fucking great.
David Wagner.
So, thank you so much, Claudia, for singing that. Yes.
Good song, I'm sorry.
We're going to have a little bit of a changeover here while people put up mics and stuff for the headliner. Suzanne Fox and friends are going to sing a few songs, and I'm sure that you're going to want to stay for that. But a couple of things I wanted to mention. I told the story about when I first encountered Suzanne. Of course, when I worked that New Year's Eve, I really felt I was working with someone very grounded. And I think that's what we all recognize in Suzanne is she's not wishy-washy. You know pretty much where she stands, and that's a good thing. Direct communication, like Sharon said. And speaking of communication, our volunteers have asked me to remind everybody at the end of the show, when the lights go up, take a look around and pick up any recyclables, anything else. Who knows? Compost. Who knows what's in the lost and found up there, huh? So another thing, a phrase I haven't heard yet this evening is, I am not your mother. You used to say that. I think I may have heard that on that New Year's Eve. I'm not your mother, but please pick up after yourself. If you don't pick up after yourself, our volunteers will go through every row and pick up all the things you leave behind. Let's hear it for the volunteers. Thank you so much for spending the evening with us. This is one we will remember for a long time, and I can't help myself.
Can I tell you that what they were going to originally call this, and then they decided to call it the Suzapalooza, they were going to call it Fox and Friends, and then they thought that might not be good.
So I think that was a good move, yes. So let's hear it for Suzanne and Friends.
This is a song I wrote called Better Woman Without You. Loved you one long winter when the snow lay on the ground. Left me when spring came around. Waited for so long like a fool, my soul did yearn. Now I see you're making your return. Called me on the phone, just saying it too long. Honey, you know you got
that you can drop when you think we're through. So move on your way, get going, travel on through. I'm a better woman without you. Want you to know when you walk right out my door that you can't push me round anymore. I think you should be learning just as long as you shall live. Can't be taken more than you can give. 'Cause I ain't the kind of woman that you can run back to. I ain't a toy that you can drop when you think we're through. So move on your way, get going, travel on through. 'Cause I'm a better woman without you. Yeah, I'm a better woman without you. Thank you. It's another song I wrote. It's actually about a town that is pretty close to where I'm moving to, called Ocala. And I just fell in love with Ocala. If I weren't moving to where I'm moving to, I'd move to Ocala. It's just about 40 minutes away in Florida. Woke up this morning, my whole body shaking. Why did I ever have to go? I looked in the mirror, I saw the timeline in my eyes. I have to go home, that's all that I know. Going back to Ocala, where the skies are blue and the fields are green. Take me back to Ocala, where the horses run and seem so free. You were always in my dreams. I remember the farmlands and the split rail fences, the way the sunlight shone through the trees, and those summer evenings, the stars were gliding through the skies. The nighttime sounds set my heart at ease. Going back to Ocala, where the skies are blue and the fields are green. Take me back to Ocala, where the horses run and see so free. You were always in my dream. Take me back to Ocala, where the horses run and seem so free. You were always in my
Okay, this, this is, I think I'm missing a page. I'm terrible with words, even though I wrote these, I can never. This is a children's song, and Camille and Lauren will know it well. And it's called Giraffe in My Kitchen. And once it was on YouTube, and somebody said, "Were you on something?" But it's for children, but you are all children. And Ronnie is going to, every time we get to Giraffe in My Kitchen, you're going to clap. And you can also sing Giraffe in My Kitchen. Or it won't always be giraffe, it might be a different animal. So. It was 8 in the morning, I heard crashing around. I jumped out of bed to see just what was the sound. I walked into the kitchen and I turned on the light. I couldn't believe such an amazing sight. Giraffe in my kitchen. Giraffe in my kitchen. He was poking around in my pots and pans. He looked at me and then he asked me to dance. Giraffe in my kitchen. Giraffe in my kitchen. I heard the water running and I wondered what for. I stumbled down the hallway to my bathroom door. I opened up the door and gave my eyes a rub. There was a big old hippo, he was sitting in my tub. A hippo in my bathtub. A hippo in my bathtub. Looked to the left and looked to the right, and then he looked at me and said the temperature's just right. A hippo in my bathtub. A hippo in my bathtub. I was late where I was going, I went back to my room. I had to get dressed and get out of there soon. I opened up my closet and imagined that there was a black and white zebra. She was trying on my hat. A zebra in my closet. A zebra in my closet. She looked at me with her eyes so blue. She gave me back my hat, said it looks better on you. A zebra in my closet. A zebra in my closet. Just as fast as I could run. I needed to think if this was scary or fun. I walked up to my car, but to my dismay, there was a tiger in my front seat. He was driving away. A tiger in my Subaru. A tiger in my Subaru. He revved up the engine as he drove away. He rolled down my window and said, "Have a nice day." A tiger in my Subaru. A tiger in my Subaru. A zebra in my closet. A hippo in my bathtub. Giraffe in my kitchen. Giraffe in my kitchen. And for the last song, which I hope a lot of you know, I'm bringing up Ellen Hoffman, my former Berkeley Broadway Singers choral director and friend, and we're going to do Sentimental Journey. And we haven't rehearsed this all together, so I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, and I need water, yeah. Okay. This is Ronnie London. John Cook. We are called One Night Stanza.
And that, by the way, is Suzanne Fox.
Yeah.
Gonna take a sentimental journey, sing along. Gonna make my heart at ease. Gonna make a sentimental journey to renew old memories. Got my bag, I got my reservation. Spend each time I could afford. Like a child in wild anticipation, long to hear that all aboard. 7, that's the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? Gonna take a sentimental journey, sentimental journey home. Helen Hoffman. 7, that's the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? Gonna take a sentimental journey, sentimental journey home.
Suzanne!
Ellen Hoffman. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I love you all. I'm sure I'm going to come back and visit.
When we first learned that you'd be leaving 4 months ago, started collecting signatures from all of the volunteers. It's a card, and of course, it didn't all fit on the card, so Elena helped us make some artistic additional pages to add to it. I have to thank Joanna Mess for really writing hard on this and making it happen. And thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. And also, let's hear it for One Night Stanza.
And let's hear it for all the musicians, too.
I want to thank the volunteers who helped tonight out of the goodness of their hearts. Lee Temkin, Hallie Hammer, Lynn Harvey, Fritzy Droston, Shirley Guggenheimer, Carlos Caliano, Rita Shady, Bessie Citron, Gail Glenn. I believe Susan Wingrosky was on the crew as well. Let's hear it for Bob and David for putting it all together. It was great to see so many volunteers. It was great to see so many staff members on a night off come to the Freight just for the joy of it. Also, I want to thank all the Freight staff who were here, Ellen in the box office, Heidi on sound, Blake on the lights, Judy, Robert, and Mari were on the counter. And
don't forget to pick up your detritus.
This floor should be spick and span by the time you guys come up, don't you think? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If it's magic, then why can't it be everlasting? Like the sun that always shines, like the poets in this rhyme, like the galaxies in time. If it's pleasing, then why can't it be never leaving? Like the day that never fails, like on seashores there are shells, like the time that always tells. It holds the key to every heart throughout the universe. It fills you up without a bite and quenches